This is the weekly sales meeting for November 3rd, 2024. My name is Chris Fleming. You can reach me at chris@cdmediaconsulting.com or go to our website at cdmediaconsulting.com. Today's topic, the dopamine yo-yo. Dopamine is a natural chemical in the brain that makes us feel good. When we do something enjoyable like eating our favorite food or playing a video game or even closing a sale, our brain releases dopamine. This makes us feel happy and rewarded, but too much dopamine, especially when we get used to it from things like social media, junk food, or those same video games, can become a problem. Over time, we can become addicted to the feeling of constant pleasure. It is called dopamine addiction, and it can be difficult to break free from. Another issue that comes with this addiction is the dopamine yo-yo. This is where we switch between feeling super happy and then feeling low, and we need to feed our addiction. Learning how to protect yourself from the dopamine addiction gives you balance. Avoiding the dopamine yo-yo is important for a healthy life. It's like eating too much candy. At first, it's sweet and fun, but after a while, it can make you feel sick. It is important to understand how dopamine works, and then work to find ways to enjoy your life and lifestyle without the need to feed it. You don't need to depend on constant pleasure. There are other ways to feel more in control of your mind and emotions. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. Those are chemicals that send signals in your brain. It's responsible for helping us feel pleasure and reward. When you do something fun or achieve a goal, your brain releases dopamine. It makes you feel good. This motivates you to repeat the behavior that caused the dopamine release. It is why you might reach for your phone to check social media, or eat a piece of chocolate, or watch your favorite TV show. You are looking for that shot. But like anything else, too much of a good thing can be harmful. When your brain gets used to large amounts of dopamine from certain activities, it starts to expect that same level of pleasure all the time. And when you don't get it, you might feel bored, restless, or even depressed. This is when the cravings start. This is where the dangers of dopamine addiction kick in. It is easy to get hooked on activities that give us quick bursts of dopamine. Social media, for example, is designed to keep us scrolling. It feeds our sensory perceptors by showing us pictures, videos, and updates. The algorithm is designed to trigger dopamine release. Video games, junk food, even binge-watching TV shows are also ways we can get quick, easy hits of dopamine. Dr. Anna Lembke is an American psychiatrist. She is the chief of the Stanford Addiction Medicine Dual Diagnosis Clinic at Stanford University. Her specialty is addiction. While much of the research is on the opioid crisis, it also applies to dopamine addiction. She is the author of Drug Dealer MD, How Doctors Were Duped, Patients Got Hooked, and Why It's So Hard to Stop. She says we're living in a world that makes it so easy to get addicted to pleasure. Modern technology and entertainment are designed to keep us coming back for more. The more we rely on these instant dopamine hits, the more difficult it is to enjoy the simple pleasures in life. Spending time with friends, reading a book, or taking a walk in nature don't supply the instant shot. The dopamine yo-yo happens when we go back and forth between feeling good when we get a hit of dopamine and feeling low when we don't. Imagine playing a video game. When you're playing, you feel excited and happy because of the dopamine your brain is releasing. But after you stop, you might feel bored or down. This is because your brain isn't getting the same level of pleasure anymore. This back and forth feeling can be exhausting and unhealthy. The more often we chase after activities that give us quick dopamine hits, the harder it becomes for us to enjoy things that don't provide that same rush. This leads to the dopamine yo-yo effect, where we swing between highs and lows. It's like riding a roller coaster of emotions, and over time, it can make you feel out of control. One way to protect yourself from this addiction is to learn how to enjoy simple pleasures. These are the things that don't give you a huge rush of dopamine, but make you feel content and happy in a steady way. There are some steps you can take to protect yourself. One is to limit your screen time. iPhone users get a convenient report each week on how much logged screen time you consume. That is compared to the previous week. Spending too much time on your phone, tablet, or computer can lead to dopamine addiction. Social media apps and video games are designed to give you constant hits of the stuff. This can make you want to stay on them for hours. To protect yourself, set a limit on how much time you spend on these devices each day. You can even use apps that remind you when it's time to take a break. Find activities that bring long-term joy to your life. Some of these activities can be reading a book, or drawing, or painting. Other activities like playing a musical instrument or exercising can bring long-term joy. This is instead of the quick dopamine hit. These activities might not give you the same rush as video games or social media, but they help you feel fulfilled and happy over time. Practice mindfulness. This is the practice of being present in the moment without judgment. It helps you focus on what's happening right now instead of chasing after the next dopamine hit. You could take time to meditate or reflect rather than feed the addiction. You could breathe deep and relax. Enjoy the present moment. This can help you break free from the dopamine cycle. Get enough quality rest. Sleep is important for your brain's health. When you don't get enough sleep, your brain can crave more dopamine to make up for feeling tired. This can lead to unhealthy habits like snacking on junk food or spending hours on your phone. Make sure to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night to give your brain the rest it needs. Set real, true goals and work towards achieving them. Achieving goals gives your brain a healthy dose of dopamine, but this shot is different from the quick dopamine hits you get from video games or junk food. Set and work toward meaningful goals. Learn a new skill. It can help you feel rewarded in a balanced way. To avoid the dopamine yo-yo, it's important to find a balance. Find it between activities that give you a quick dopamine boost and those that provide long-term satisfaction. One way to do this is creating a routine. My father told me this when I was about 8 or 9. He said life is a series of routines. This is likely the old computer programmer in him shining through. But having a daily routine helps you avoid relying on quick dopamine hits to feel good. When you have a schedule for your day, it's easier to focus on productive and specific activities. That is, instead of spending hours on your phone or playing video games. You could try a dopamine detox. Take a break from all the activities that give you quick dopamine hits. Stay off social media. Reduce video game time. Stop eating junk food. A dopamine detox helps reset your brain. It allows you to appreciate life's simple pleasures again. During a dopamine detox, you might spend time reading a book. You could take up journaling or other forms of writing. You could walk outside or find some other creative outlet for your time. The idea is to focus on activities that don't rely on quick dopamine bursts, but still bring you happiness and fulfillment. It's important to remember that a dopamine detox doesn't mean you have to give up all fun activities forever. It's more about taking a break and finding balance in your life. Once your brain has had a chance to reset, you can enjoy those activities in moderation. That can save you from becoming addicted to the dopamine rush. It's okay to enjoy social media, video games, and junk food sometimes, but when we rely on them too much, we lose control over our own happiness. Find a balance between activities that give us quick dopamine hits and those that bring long-term satisfaction. This is how we can protect ourselves from addiction and avoid the dopamine yo-yo. Breaking free from dopamine addiction and avoiding the dopamine yo-yo are not things that happen overnight. It takes small, consistent steps. Start with small goals. For example, instead of checking social media every 10 minutes, get a timer and only check once an hour. Gradually, you can stretch that time even further. You could also set limits on how long you engage in these kind of activities each day. Then use that extra time to do something that brings long-term satisfaction. Building healthy habits is one of the best ways to avoid falling into the trap of dopamine addiction. When you create daily routines or habits, your brain doesn't have to rely on random bursts of dopamine to feel good. Instead, it learns to find happiness in consistent, balanced activities. Focus on building real, meaningful relationships. That is, instead of relying on social media for connection. Social media can make you feel good. By design, the likes, comments, or followers feed you the drug. These online interactions don't provide the same deep sense of fulfillment as spending time with friends or family. Face-to-face connections release dopamine in a healthier way. When you have a meaningful conversation or share a fun experience with someone, it brings long-lasting joy. Instead of scrolling through social media for hours, make an effort to meet up with friends. Call a family member. Spend time playing a board game with someone you care about. Building strong real-world connections helps avoid the constant dopamine spikes. These are the design of online interactions. Learning patience is one of the best ways to avoid the dopamine yo-yo. Patience allows you to enjoy the process of working towards your goal instead of needing instant rewards. Patience teaches you that good things take time and that you don't need quick dopamine hits to feel happy. Take, for example, learning a new skill, like playing a musical instrument. The process of learning takes time and practice. You won't become an expert overnight, but with patience and persistence, you'll improve little by little. Each small achievement will bring you a lasting sense of accomplishment. It builds over time without the need for a huge dopamine rush. The famous quote by Lao Tzu, a Chinese philosopher, sums it up well. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, meaning big achievements don't happen all at once. Take things one step at a time. Be patient. It is your way to avoid the highs and lows of the dopamine yo-yo. You can find satisfaction in steady progress. Part of protecting yourself from dopamine addiction is learning to avoid triggers, those things that make you crave those instant dopamine hits. For many, checking your phone first thing in the morning makes you want to spend the next hour on social media. To break this habit, try putting your phone out of reach when you go to bed. Instead of reaching for it as soon as you wake up, start your day with something calming. Try exercise, reading, or reflection. The more you can avoid the triggers that make you want instant gratification, the easier it becomes to build healthy habits. Self-control is an essential skill when it comes to avoiding dopamine addiction. Having self-control means being able to resist the temptation of instant rewards in favor of long-term benefits. Walter Mischel was an Austrian-born psychologist. He later became an American citizen. He specialized in personality theory and social psychology. He was a professor at Columbia University, and he is best known for the marshmallow test. He showed how delayed gratification can lead to long-term success. In the experiment, children were given a choice. They could eat one marshmallow immediately or wait 15 minutes and get 2 marshmallows. The children who waited ended up being more successful later in life. They had learned self-control. By delaying gratification, we can avoid the dopamine yo-yo. We will achieve better outcomes in the long run. Dopamine is an important chemical in our brain, but when we rely on it too much, it can lead to addiction. Learning how to protect yourself involves finding balance. We can learn to enjoy long-term satisfaction over quick dopamine hits, all in the effort to build healthy habits. Start by limiting screen time. Practice mindfulness. Set realistic goals. Focus on building relationships. This will help you break free from the cycle of the dopamine addiction. Don't try to do it all at once. Take small steps. Delay gratification gradually. Learn to enjoy simple pleasures. Maintain a healthy relationship with dopamine. True happiness comes from balance and moderation, not from constantly chasing after the next hit. As Lao Tzu said, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Take your time, enjoy the process, and protect yourself from the dangers of the dopamine yo-yo. My new book, 21st Century Sales Success, is now available on Amazon.com. If you like what you have heard here today, please consider ordering a copy or 2. You can always send one to a friend. Go to cdmediaconsulting.com right now and follow the instructions to order.